What is up, everybody? I am back. It is a little bit later in the evening, so I'm going to try to keep a lower tone. Allergies and stuff going on too. So, fun things. Fun things are happening. Fun things are happening. I think I'm screen recording. Looks like I am. I'm audio recording and face recording. So, we've got a lot of stuff going on here, folks. And what are we doing today? We are going to continue the progress from yesterday or 2 days ago's work, I think it is. I didn't record yesterday. I'm unfortunately human, you know what I mean? So I have limits and other stuff to worry about and other things, and I'm juggling like 5 things. So I'm like spending an hour here, 2 hours here, 4 hours on this project, 2 hours on this project. So it's a lot of work. But it's a lot of fun too, and a lot of learning. But with that being said, this is episode 5. I think it's episode 5. Before I dive into the episode, if you've made it through these episodes, thank you so much for watching. Even if you make it just like little bits of them, I really appreciate the viewership. Because I'm starting off. You know, I got a few viewers, I got a few guys, few people. And I can see all the analytics, and it's kind of cool. It's just like a fun endeavor, and I really love producing software. So it's been really enjoyable for me so far, and I really just hope to keep up with the momentum of just building, recording, narrating, building, recording, narrating, building, because it's just like fun, something to do, and I could see my skill set already getting more improved as time goes on. So it's really exciting for me. But before I dive into the episode, I wanted to talk about one more thing. I have my software engineering program linked in the description below. I've got my social medias linked in the description below, all that stuff. So the software engineering course, it's this course I'm building. I've got a few modules uploaded, and it's really curated stuff. And basically my goal is to share a lot of the knowledge and things I'm building. Obviously here there's a ton of knowledge, but that is going to be more curated step by step of getting someone up to speed if they're kind of been around software a little bit, like a little more, they just want to pour gas on the fire. That's kind of what that course is curated for. Down the line, I'm definitely going to be building, like zero code to learning how to code. I'll have to figure out a project to build, but it'll be zero to some sort of strong project. And yeah, but that's going to be down the road. Again, I'm human. I can only do so much at a time, so be patient with me. It's going to take time. It's going to take that thing that we all wish we had more of. And it's not money, but money is time. Time is money. Women love money, so women are time. Math, it all makes sense. It's all. Okay. I'm getting too far. I'm getting too far off the field of ideas here. I'm just trying to narrate, make it a little bit entertaining for us. So anyway, back to the Taskify that we are building. This is kind of what we constructed last time, was this to-do list, and the thing we left out was this task card component. So it's going to be a little bit of a quicker episode today. I do want to tackle either the task card component or the ability to query for task and add task. I think that would be really cool if we can get some data showing here in these fields. And then I'm going to have to build a card component and then learn how to drag and drop it. We'll figure that out. We'll get there later, but I'm debating on what to do. I want to do the card component because I feel like it's something we can roughly knock out. And just kind of have it done. But then the next thing I need to do is get some data for these card components. So I almost want to work with the data first, so we have a card component to build, right? So we have the data to construct around it. So I think I'm going to go for that. Let's see how easy it is to do. It might be a bit of a challenge. So I'm going to pop this open. We're in the backend as well. npm run start. Let's get that server up and running. It should be 3001. Just like that. And if I go to localhost 3001, we got our home page, and I believe we had task. And these are all of our tasks. This is just dummy data that we constructed on the back end. If I go to the src folder, we have our server. So it's not real data yet. It's real from the back end that we can query from the front end, but but yeah, so let's get over here to the front end. Let's get back to the front end. We have our back end up and running. And where's our front end? I need to kind of see it again for a second. So we have our Kanban page. And this is going to be probably where I want to query the data or pass the data into, at least, is the Kanban page. Or maybe I want to make some sort of store. Maybe now's a good time for us to build a store. So in these stores, this is where I could keep all of my data and then just pull it in each page when I need it. So maybe I'll have a task store. .ts, and we got to install Redux toolkit. So install Redux toolkit, I believe TypeScript and Nuxt.js. How to use Redux toolkit, Nuxt.js. Should just be Redux toolkit, I believe. Oh, my back just popped. That was good. That was good. I needed that. So let's see. npm install Redux. Okay, if you need React bindings. Oh, no, we don't want it on our backend. We still want our backend up and running. We want it on our front end. So let me pop over here. Come on, front end. Come on. All right, I'll just crash the server. That's fine. Let's cd into the front end. npm install that. And I'll go ahead and pop the bindings in too. And I'll go ahead and install Redux toolkit. I need to pull out. Let's see. I also saw Zoo stand, which I guess is a new thing. A new state management library, Zoo stand. Maybe not new now, but kind of maybe like 9 months ago it came out, or 18 months ago, something like that. And it seems really, really simple to use. And that's what I like about Vue's state management that comes stock with Vue is Pena. Unless you're using Nuxt, then you have to do some configurations. But Pena is really, really nice because it's literally like using Vue's just normal templates. And it like makes sense. You're just like, the equivalent of Vue's Pena would be like React just having state in like here, and you just export it. No different than using it kind of in here. Like that's how I feel. Oh no, not the snippet. I don't need all this. That's kind of how I feel Pena is a little bit. It just feels really intuitive and easy. Oh, we deleted a whole bunch of stuff. All right. I have no idea how we got here. Okay. Fingers are moving a little bit slow right now, but it would be like having your state, whatever you need. And right, your function, right? Your function. Like this would be like the equivalent of if React had Pena's ease for their setup stores. It would literally just be like this. Like you just say your state, and then you return an object of your state, right? Whatever you need, and your function. And then you could literally use it anywhere in the project. And it honestly looks like that you might be able to do that here in React. I'm going to give it a go, because if I can do that and it'll work as a store, then I'm just going to not use Redux, to be honest. Because like I'll install it and go through the process, but it's just, when they have their actions and getters and all this extra stuff, it makes sense. And maybe I'm being a little bit skittish or lazy, but I don't know. It just seems like why all the extra cut? Like why? You know what I mean? Like why make things more complicated? Like if it's literally just exporting functions, like that, like that's fundamentally all you're doing is just like you have a normal page, And this page is just kind of like a meta page that doesn't belong to anywhere in the file. It belongs to everywhere in the file if you want to access it. And that's like all the store really is. But again, I feel like, I don't know, maybe I don't know enough. Maybe I need to learn more. But that to me seems like what a store should be. It's just something as simple as that. So we'll give it a go. We'll see. We'll mess with a few approaches of state management here. How to use Redux Toolkit and Nuxt.js. Let's see what our trusty intern says. So we just got to install the dependencies, which we have just done. Got our backend port. I do want them reordered. And here's an example of a store. See, they have all this extra stuff. You got your reducers for your actions, and it's just like, I hate to keep coming back to it and being like Vue, Nuxt, Vue, but I literally mean it. Like, it's such a just, like, they just make it simple. You know, they like try to go out of the way to make it as least complicated as possible. And I looked up into Next page routing. So it looks like you do something like this. Like you would have like a sign-in page. And it looks like you could do something like this. Or, excuse me, it's not this. I need to, I think it's wrap it again. And then say sign in. Boom, and then I think you put page.tsx. So I mean, it's all like, you know, simple. Say sign in page. Let's see if this works. Sing in, but the reason why I'm just going through all this is I just want to ultimately get to showing you guys how Nuxt just has absolutely crushed it, right? Like they really have. They really have. And it's something that took me off guard. Like when I was building with it, I was like, it can be this simple at times? Like, really? And the answer is it literally can be. So I don't know, maybe I just, again, it comes back to the talent thing. If I just need to get better, probably. And I hate to talk crap, because I guess to some degree it's like I've never built a framework, right? So I have no idea on how complicated it actually is. So maybe a lot of humility would probably pop in if I was okay, what's going on here? Sports in. Well, I thought this was how you could do routing here. Sing in, we want sign in. What's going on? React refers to, yeah, so even this, like, I'm gonna have to figure out some of the sign-in stuff, or the dynamic routing, excuse me. But let's pop over to the store again. Let's just get either one of these things figured out. How about this? How can I do? So, and while I have your attention, right, let me show you how it is done in Nuxt. So you build a pages folder. Let me kind of close all this stuff. So here's how your folder arrangement is. It's like really shallow. So you don't go like nested folders. You don't do that, because it makes it more complicated, right? So when you have a src folder with an app folder with components within the app folder with pages within the, like, and it's not the end of the world. It's like you just pop it open and check it out. But literally, this is Nuxt layout, and you just have like your assets for all your like JSON, CSS, fonts, images, everything like this. And you have a components folder. So anywhere in the project, I can literally just import base whatever, as long as I name it in here. So here's like one Nuxt component I have. And if I want to use that anywhere else in the project, I don't even have to import it. I can literally just like, let's say this is another component. And if I want to use that base alert component, I just say base alert. And Nuxt with their fancy importing, their auto imports, all that stuff, already in there. It works. It's just like literally that simple. But even then, even if you just have to import base component, like not a huge deal. And I think you do still have to do that if you're not within, if I'm deeper than one scope, I think you still have to do it. Or if the component you're trying to access is not in the components folder. But you have a components folder. You have a layout folder to control like your orientation of the application, which I know Next definitely still has, which is awesome. But again, like I love it because you just have like, you start with this Nuxt page thing, and then how do I use it? I just go to my pages, and this is also another thing. I'll talk about routing and pages for a second. I just go to pages, and then you just define in your page meta what layout you want. Like within the page you're building, you just say, oh, like this is an in-app page. Oh, this is a desktop page. Oh, this is a default page. Oh, this is like a mobile page or something. And it'll handle it all. It literally just like, now you have to build out your layouts properly. So I have like an in-app layout where it's all this stuff, but it just handles it for you. Like, I don't know. I definitely need to get better at Next, but I really, really, and then the final thing I'll talk about is the pages, like for dynamic routing. So let's say we want to build a new page, and it is this task page. So I'll say task.view, and I'll just go in here. I'll just briefly make a task page real quick. And let me run the server just to show you guys. And all I need to do is just go to /tasks. And it's already handled it. So if I go to /task, let me get there before, oh, nope, don't want to go to that. Before you guys see the rest of the project. So you'll see the layout because it's also a default layout. So there's going to be default stuff there. But actually, you know what? So I don't expose too much of the project. Let me define the page meta as well as an in-app thing. So you guys, or I'll just say blank actually. So it's literally a nothing. Okay, cool. So it worked. And this is my task page now. So now we can build whatever we want. And if we want one of the components, one of those base components, right? You say base button, right? Don't even need to import it. It'll just show up. Boom. Like just like that. So base alert, whatever components are in that component folder. Here's my alert thing. So I have all of these to access, and I can control the layout with this one. And if I need authentication or middleware, I can put it in here as well. So I just like it because it's like it's literally like two steps, and even routing, it's just whatever you name it here. So if we want to name it your new page, this page task will no longer exist. And if we just go to your new page, boom, we have your new page. Refresh it, boom. So your new page, right? And I noticed to some degree, and there's folder routing as well within Nuxt. So if you have, your new page / whatever, then you just make this a folder, and that's what I've done up here. And then you pass in. I don't mean to. I hate like roasting because it's like a dumb thing to roast. But I would pass it up here and then wrap it with. So to some degree, I feel like, and how do I do it? Yep, just like that. I feel like to some degree, I'll just say ID is fine. So the route params are just going to be the ID. So this would be page 1. Oh shoot, Hopefully I didn't expose too much, but page 2, you could pull those params now from the ID we're in. But let me get out of this before getting, too far into the woods on that. And I'll just delete this. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, cool. So, didn't mean to delete all of them out. Let me pull up the task manager again. But the frustration I'm having with some of the React space is it's extra steps for. Oh, and I didn't show you the stores. I should have showed you the stores too. But the regular issue I'm like defaulting back to, because when I first was taught Vue, I was like almost like I didn't like it as much as React. I really did appreciate React a lot more, and I still do love React. Like, do not get me wrong. Like, it's still an amazing framework. It's still like my second favorite framework to produce front ends in, and I need to try more. I've produced an Angular. I've done Vue, Nuxt, Next, a few others, right? Maybe I can get on over to Svelte or something, and I can get better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not here to say like I'm, the most experienced. I'm talented, right? I'm hardworking. I'm experienced, but yes, I can definitely get better. And the thing I'm trying to communicate is I just don't understand why React at times feels like it's some workaround. Like it feels like it's like one-way data driven, and that's how they built the framework. And and maybe it's for stuff I don't know about. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I've never built a framework, So I do want to have some humility when approaching the topic, but I just want to keep repeating on how much I really do enjoy the Nuxt and Vue ecosystem, because it surprised me. It really did. I was like, wow, okay, this is like a lot better than I really thought it was going to be, So, but let me figure out how to do this routing and stop complaining, because it is a lot of, it's like Vue. But let's figure it out. I don't want to get too far into the woods of roasting it too much, because we're going to be using it still, despite me maybe feeling a way about it. Still going to commit to it. You know what I mean? I said I'm going to use Next, and we are going to use Next. There's no... okay, so it looks like I do something like this, where I say sign in, and then this would be... looks like this would be ID. Okay, so maybe it is the same thing. Let me kill the server, rerun. Let's see. Maybe it is that simple. Okay, so I'm in the pages directory. I've made post. XSY is it? This is the example it has here for post. I don't know. Maybe we will swap over to Nuxt. That could happen. The only downside with Nuxt is, in Vue as a whole, is they don't have nearly as much support as React. Like, React is used everywhere. It's obviously the golden standard across the board, and rightfully so. It's an amazing framework, right? I was just very thoroughly surprised on using Vue and being like, oh my God, like, I did not realize software engineering can be that easy. At least in my brain. It just, I don't know, it makes sense a lot. So, but anyway, it's enough complaining. Let's see what it says here. And not complaining, more commenting. I'm still learning, so bear with me. But for example, if you want to create a page for an individual blog post, okay, so they have it named post here in the directory. It says, so that should be named post. And it says this would be id.js. And it looks like if I go to Post 1. Still nada. Okay, so use router inside the file. You can use the use router thing to get the route, of course, and then query the ID if you need it. Fetching things, which we will need. So do I not have the pages in the right spot? Is that why? Where do I put the pages? That must be where it is. Where do I put the pages directory in Nuxt.js? Maybe I'll make this episode a little bit longer because we haven't got into too much stuff. So pages, okay. Okay, so pages / index, pages. Because I feel like Next came out with that idea and then Nuxt might have followed, right? Where do I put my pages directory in my Next.js project? Okay. Let's see if it lays it out for us. That'd be cool. That would be really awesome. So pages. Oh, it's saying it needs to go one layer up. So maybe it is a lot similar to Nuxt, which would make sense. So then I'm the dummy. I'm the dummy, guys. Surprise, I am the human here. No? Okay. Oh! It turns out I'm the dummy. It turns out that this guy is the dummy. It turns out. All right, folks. All right. Well, we figured it out, which is great news, because it was getting to me a little bit where I was like, why is this not working? But looks like we're moving and grooving. So let me go task, and we'll say task 1. Syntax error, not defined, task ID. Boom, now it should be. Post ID, now it's task ID. Nice. Okay, I'm going to try to import Axios. I think we downloaded it. Actually, I will capitalize it. I know I'm a weirdo. Capitalization. Say import Axios, and Axios, is it types / Axios? I don't know. Does Axios need types? I'm not entirely sure or not, but let me go ahead and pop it in there. Function. We'll say get task. This really should go into the store, but I'll put it here for now. Oh, and my phone did a thing. Let me turn on the battery for a sec. Okay. Little low percentage popped up. Do we have a string for the task ID? I forget what we did on the back end. Let me see. Task ID was a number, but it really should be a string. Okay, so get task, we'll say axios.get. Okay, it's having me lowercase it. I'll do that. Axios.get. Task plus task ID dot then. We'll say, yeah, task, that's fine for the response. And actually, we'll just say res.console log.res. And where we have catch equals error. Console log.error. Great. Okay. So we do have the fetch task button that I'll be building right here. Base button. And what was the custom function? Get task, right? I forget, do I need to pass that in? Get task, and this will be task ID. Okay. And as number, does that satisfy us? No. What's going on? Oh, it's a string? It's supposed to be a string? I thought we defined it as a number up here. We did. And what's the custom? Void is not assignable to undefined. So async, okay. If task ID, do this. Will that satisfies? Nope. Okay, okay, okay. Interesting, interesting, interesting. Turns out I am not all-knowing and omnipotent. I know, folks. I know, who would have thought? Who would have thought? Okay, all right. Too much time over here. Button, let's say get task. On click, we'll say get task, and I'll just pass in the task ID. Why is it throwing us a little error? As number. %. Or number. Well, that fixes. Okay, maybe that was the issue the whole time. But we're gonna go ahead and try to fetch a task here, folks. I think this might work. Do we have a task on the back end to fetch? Just one. We have task, and then task ID. Did that work? I think it did. If I remember correctly, we did. Oh, it's tasks though, not task. So this route needs to be task as well. And let's see, if I click this, well, we should be getting at least a click, right? So if I say button, say click, on click. So and this is just me just testing that there's some sort of click happening, that the DOM is registering the click. And I pulled up my console, and it is. And nice, we are getting some sort of status back. Config res.status.ok. What are we at? We're at 32 minutes, folks. Res.status 200. Nice. Okay, so maybe it is working. We just need to set it to something because we're getting a 200 response, which means that everything is A-OK. So let's go ahead and set, we'll say task and set task. And technically I need to import the type for the task, but I'll kind of wait on some of that stuff for now. We'll just kind of leave it to the old JavaScript style for the time being. And I'll say set task to the response. And what is, oh, okay, so maybe I do need to import the type if we're getting a type error. So we have task, and what was the type we had in our utils? Types, task type. It was literally task type, right? Okay, and let's set this to task type. That should make our response go away, right? As task type. Conversion of type Axios any. Weird, it should not be that. It should respond with a void, right? Or task type. So why is it doing that? Is missing the following properties. Task type. So what's the response? Is it res.data? Maybe that's why. We just needed res.data, guys. Maybe it was something that's silly. Happens. Okay, let's see. Get task, click. Okay. So it might be doing the do. It might be doing the do. Let me put the task on the screen and let's see. Okay, so we are getting something. Get task, boom. I'm gonna get out of the task store. We'll maybe consider doing that in a sec. But I really just want to get like the data, just data-ing. I don't know if that's a word or not, but I just want the data to respond on the front end. That's literally all I want. And I think I think if we can get this data just here on the front end, I think that's a successful session. So let's try to do that. I'm going to get rid of task here. Task undefined. React node is not, task type is not assignable to React node. What does this mean, folks? So res.data. So if I go task boom, would that handle it? No. As task type. No. Okay. Okay. So I don't need the task ID anymore. I just want the task and I just want to set it. So I feel like I'm doing that appropriately. So I'm getting the task ID. Maybe we can console log the res.data and see what we're working with. I think that would help a lot. It should be working on the console ninja. Nope, that's another console ninja, but we're getting this huge query, this object, this HTML object from the server, it looks like. And I feel like this is just a simple issue. So we have our get task ID, res.json task index. Maybe I'll res.send it. Let's see if it does something different. Click. So it's clicking. What are we getting next? Head count. Okay, so let's try to ask our ChatGPT. I'm sure it's a simple issue here. Trying to query for one task on the back from the front end, from the front end. That's my front end. That's my back end. And we'll need to clean up a lot of this. This is just getting paint on the canvas right now. From the front end and show it on the front end. On the front end. Okay. Yeah, so this is just paint on the canvas mode, meaning I just want to get kind of like stuff moving because when you kind of look at a project, there's almost so much to do that you're like, where do I even start? How do I even get moving? But the point is you just start. You just like literally get moving, and yeah, and then it should start doing the do, at some point. But I think step one is just getting the thing going. I think that's the biggest step. So get task is what it says. This is one thing that I need to change, is the port is not the right port. Oh, there we go. And I saw it. Task ID bug fix. There we go, folks. There we go. So I just had the wrong URL, it looks like, and maybe I was missing a few things. Okay, so on the front end, inappropriate timing when I do stuff like this, right? So on the front end in React, that breaks it, but on, you guessed it, on Vue and Nuxt, it doesn't. When you do stuff like that, it just shows the entire object. So it would literally show, here, let's get it back up and running. It would literally just show that all of this on the front end right there. So you could just paste the entire object. Literally, like it would show even in the curly brackets. If I just showed that, it would literally show this. Let me put it in quotes. So it's kind of a string, I guess. But this is like with curlies around it where the quotes are. That's what it would show in Vue. And that's super nice because then you can literally just like drop your object off on the front end, on the DOM, and then just say task, like what do I need? Task ID? Okay, cool. Then you just pop it in, and here's our task ID. I'll put flex and flex call so we can see it all. should be rearranged now. Why is it not? Oh, duh. These are, there we go. Okay. So these should be their own things now. Task ID, get task. It'll show get task 1, right? And what else do we have? We have like task names. So on the front end, I guess this works too. This is an effective way. And then task priority low, and task status. Let me just pop that in there as well. Oh, looks like that's a map. So it's an array, so I need to map. I'll say status, and we'll put some curlies here. Get task. Let's see what that does. That breaks it. Okay. So what was the status one again? It was an object, was it? So it was like there we go. It was an object. Okay, cool. So we see the history of that task now. And I know someone's looking at this like, dude, you just got like some basic letters on the front end, but this is huge because we're literally we're querying data from the back end, and we're showing it now on the front end, obviously in just a random folder. This needs to be in the columns component or the page for it. So I need to organize all that now, but this is huge. This is great. This is like literally, this is doing the thing. This is awesome. So let me try to pull the components out of here, and I'm going to put it in the front end repo. I want that folder, if it is modeled the same as Nuxt, I guess that would make sense for a server-side rendered framework, and I'm the one messing up here. That would actually make complete sense. So we'd have our stores, obviously, our SRC and the app, and everything would exist as low scope as possible in the front end portfolio. Makes sense in my brain. And I could start building these pages out. So I'm going to build out the Kanban page now. Let me see if this works. I think if I go Kanban page, it should redirect to the nice, and it does. The other thing I'm struggling with now, obviously, is going to be the layout around it. So I'll have to figure out how to do that, I suppose. But the good news is we do have task now on the front end, which is great. So I can query for task 1, it shows up. And if I query for, let's say, task 2, ignore this top line. I'll just go ahead and delete it out of here. I should be able to have access to task 2. So this is task 2. It's different from task 1. If I show you task 1, query for that. It's fix bug fix 102, low, backlog, boom, boom, boom. And if I query for task 3, oh, we got an issue. We got an issue. Well, that wasn't supposed to work like that, but tomato, tomato. So backlog in progress, we're getting a error. Each thing should have its own unique key prop, not a big deal. And for this, I can actually make the key the task. Actually, no, I can't make it the task ID. Forgive me. That won't work because this is for the task ID. This is for these guys. So awesome. We're querying for data on the front end from the back end. And I want to get this all on the Kanban page is the idea. Or the Kanban page needs to be the page I'm kind of talking about for tasks. But these are just individual singular tasks. So really what I want to do, I'm going to rename that to, gosh, I really want it to be task, like just one task. I don't want it to be tasks. But for naming convention, I guess to some degree it makes sense that it's tasks, and then you search for the ID. Decisions, but I'm going to go ahead and put another folder, I guess, and we'll call this one the Kanban page. Kanban page dot, no, not the folder, and because to some degree, I think what I'll do is have the task be queried, and this query will take in a ID, like a login ID, and that'll fetch all the tasks, I guess. Yeah, let me think about how to do that. Maybe I'll have to sleep on that and marinate, or let that marinate in my brain. But this is kind of working for now, I suppose. I just want the Kanban page to. So I have these 3 columns, and I guess technically the columns would be passed the data. Or the data would be passed to the Kanban page. That makes most sense. The data would be passed to the Kanban page. That's right. Okay, so features from, I have task slice, name would be tasks. It's just like just all this is just like a like I don't even want to touch it. It's just like so much extra code for no reason, for literally no reason. When a I don't know. I'm actually gonna try to see if I can do task store.jsx right here. Or excuse me, tsx rather. And I'm going to see if I can just export the store here, because I just like, I don't know. It's just not really, like I'm kind of disgusted by just like the overcomplication of reducers and all that stuff. And maybe there's a reason for it, right? Like I guarantee you could do custom stuff and other things, but it just, I don't know. I think that's a huge problem in software engineering, is people like making stuff way too complicated. Again, I'm a little bit newer to the space, so maybe I don't understand, but I feel like there's this thing where maybe I'm being snobbish, right? Like maybe that's very much so, that I'm being a little bit pinky up with it type thing. And this would be set task. We need Axios in here. Where is this button? Steal all this real quick. We can actually delete that. Steal all this. And it's going to be task, and that's it. No task ID. And set tasks will be the res.data. And I'll just go ahead and run this actually. Or maybe I can return the object, maybe? I don't know. Flying by the hip here, folks, to see if this will work or not. If this does, I'm just going to do this instead of implementing Redux or ZooStand, because like again, all the store in my brain, all it is like you're just having your setters there and your functions there. You should just literally be able to export the state. Like that's all. And if you need to manipulate data and have some setters in there, and that makes sense, but again, it shouldn't be more complicated than you just write your functions and the state in that same place. You just export the state. That's all you're doing, and export the functions, I guess. So technically, I should be able to export, like I said, the functions and the state. So in theory, I hope this works, because then I've just saved myself a ridiculous amount of work. So let's see. And then I could parade around and say like, I'm a senior dev again. So let's see if this works. Get tasks, and we'll say tasks from, let's see, stores. I have no idea if this is going to work though. Yeah, it's not looking like it, but stores has no exported member of tasks. Let's see. I'm seeing some sort of exported member of tasks. Let's say export here. How about export? What if I pulled this out? Export default function has store. What about this? What is going on? Come on. Has store, and if I pop this in, what would this do? Nada enchilada. But I hope this is making sense. I hope there's some like React dev that's just like a genius in here who's watching. He's like, you know, just right now I'm such a tiny channel, but I think it would be just awesome if someone could build something that would make this work, because again, all a store really fundamentally is just functions and data that you can export out of. You can have this like meta place. So on like a hierarchy of components, you have like your pages, your components, and like smaller atoms or something, right? So you have like your applications, like this whole thing, and it's just made up of pages, and all these pages are made up of components. And your store doesn't really fit in any one place in there because your store can be accessed everywhere. But in theory, everything else can also be accessed everywhere too. You can access a page in a component. You can also access a component from anywhere else in the application. So, that is a good design pattern though, if you just kind of that like higher up thing. But I believe it's the observer design pattern. That's like all the store is just other things just observing it, really. My understanding of it, maybe I could learn more, probably, but it just doesn't feel like it needs to be all these like reducers and this, that, the other, and it's just. But hey, what do I know, right? I'm just a senior dev. What do I know, right? So I'm getting a little cheeky. I kind of make fun of the title junior dev, senior dev. Because I'll be honest, I've crossed paths with devs of all different, or a few different calibers, and I'm just like, you are dumb. You are really dumb in this area. Like, you don't have any idea what you're talking about. And then maybe I don't have the experience or authority to be like, you're an idiot, right? Like, but then on the other side, I know there's parts where I'm a complete idiot on too. So it's one of those things where like, I don't know if like, I don't know, I feel like people have this idea of like senior dev. Like, I'm at this level. I'm a white belt karate. I'm a brown belt. Like, I'm a red belt software engineer. I'm a blue belt. I'm now a black belt. Like, you might be a black belt in backend development, but you might be a complete idiot on front end, or how DOM manipulation and reactivity works with the DOM, you know, or caching data on the front end and stuff, like, and vice versa. I might be really dominant on the front end, but then a complete idiot when it comes to backend ideas, or even other parts of the front end or other parts of the back end, right? Like, I don't know. I think the world of software engineering is like weirdly being landscape different right now. I'm seeing it in my own time. I'm a little bit new to this space comparatively to like someone who's been around for a decade. But the point is like, I still just don't see why there's radicalized overcomplications. When like really something like this should work, and maybe it does. I just don't know how to do it proper. But this should kind of work. Tasks. Let's see. What do we name it here? Task. Yeah, just get task. Because this should just be like a store that you can import task store. Can I just import task store and then say const task, const store? Let's see if this works. Maybe, huh? Task store. Maybe this is the sauce, folks. Okay. So it turns out I'm the dummy. Again, I'm gonna keep doing it, folks. I'm gonna keep doing it. It turns out I'm the dummy. Okay, let's see if this works. Runtime object, no. Okay, maybe I'll do a use effect, see if this will. And I'll just use the use effect just one time just to run this command on load on page mount, because I just need the task from this thing. But they're obviously not going to show right here is where they should be showing if they're going to show. We also don't know if this works, so maybe I should have checked if this works first. Technically, right? It probably would have been a good idea. So yeah, let me pipe it back 1 or 2 steps before just roasting React again, because or Next rather. I've done that a few times now. I'll probably do it again if I'm honest, but I don't want to, you know what I mean? Like I don't really want to. I don't know. I'm just tired. Forgive me. You know what I mean? Task. Okay, so how can I import this from? Let me just import task, I guess. This task store. And I'll just pop it in as a component, as well as, let's see if that works, right? So task store button, give it some padding, background red. But I think great progress still, even just getting this on the front end. I would have liked it in the Kanban page, obviously, but looks like there's some issues with the Kanban page. So I think because I pulled it out of the scope of the application, it did a little funny thing, but not a big deal. Not concerned about it or anything like that. I just think need to learn more, I feel like. So let's see if I export default. Looks like I can't use this as an object. It's destructured, right? Looks like I'll have to, or maybe I can. I don't know, folks. Just flying by the seat here. Flying by the seat. This is really just supposed to be a component. Export default component and task store. Button, nice, we got it in there. Okay, so button is there. I'm going to make sure we can get these tasks here on the front end. Looks like we're clicking and it looks like we're getting tasks. This is awesome. So all the tasks are here, they're loading, and I could show you guys that here. If I task map task and do a bit of this and say task, and what else could I do? I could say task name, and we should see bug fix, boom, boom, boom. All of our tasks. All of our tasks, and I can wrap these in a frag and say task ID. Flex call. This is kind of exciting, to be honest. I'm getting a little bit stoked on this because we have our task now rendered on the front end. We can access 1, we can access 3, right? And of course, these need an index, some sort of key. So, did this work then? Technically, can I do this now? Is that acceptable to do get task? If I both import it this way and destructure it as an object this way, can I do that? I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know. Looks like I can't because I've either to export it default or export it this way and then destructure it as an object and then go from there. Wait, but did that still work as the button? Is that still going to do the thing? Nice. Okay, so I do this, store.getTask. Oh, you know what? I forgot. I'm returning it this way. So if I do return it the other way of task now, because again, I just want to use this as a store. I don't want to have this actually be a component. I just want it to literally be just to hold data, you know, literally just to handle data. And that would be awesome. And I don't think we're going to get away with it. I don't think we're going to get away with it, unfortunately. So I'll look into it. I will. I promise. But I think as a whole, let me just go ahead and undo these changes. At least we got some data from the backend. That's a good start. That's a good progress bar. You know, I think that's huge. I think that's important. Let me go ahead and just show that again. Runtime module. We are exporting. Okay, cool. So we're back. We're back to where we were. And we have this mock shift button. We have our card components. I do need to get it all recolored and just in the right space again. I think it's just because it's out of the global CSS thing. Actually, yeah, maybe if I just import global CSS, it might fix itself potentially. No. Okay, so maybe I'll fix it and get the data and the columns, and then we'll call it an episode. I think that's probably fair. But I am proud that we got we can get one task, we can get multiple tasks. We got the conditional rendering for tasks page a little bit figured out, which is kind of cool. And then obviously the Kanban page is still being worked on, but I'm just wondering why is it why is this not working anymore, right? Like, why is the coloring not there? But I will read in my free time about stores and just handling the data, because I don't want my data to exist on the pages. I just want to literally have my pages just hold all the components, and then I'll handle all the data issues in the store. The components should handle all the state. The pages should really just be a combination of the components, maybe a little bit of state, but all the data should be in the stores, you know, and just passed down. Because then I don't have to manipulate it anywhere else. I could just literally handle it all in the store. And that'll be my entry point from the backend. So I'll keep all my APIs. You know, if we have to do some endpoints, they'll end up being either in a store, or maybe I'll have like an endpoints library or something. But I could honestly just keep them in the store. I think this project's small enough where it can all exist in the store. And then yeah, I'll have to do a lot of work in the back end, obviously. There's a lot to do, even just routing and making controllers. So that'll be fun. Let's see, why do we have 1,000? Oh, did I mess with the get ignore? Hopefully not. I'll have to look into that, because I do not want to mess with the node modules, obviously. Looks like we need to get ignore up here. So I'm going to copy that and new file. Let's see if we can say get ignore. Paste that in. And did not change very much. Okay, what if I pop that into entire project? There we go. Nope. I think that did work, because I did see 22 for a second. Just needed a second to upload, maybe. Yep, it did. Okay, cool. So that did work. We just needed to do the get ignore, get rid of some of that stuff. We don't need it all in the project. Awesome. Yeah, I don't want to be freaking committing that type of craziness, right? Okay, so let me get back to the Kanban page, and let's take a look at the base column. And maybe even the Kanban page itself. If I can say class name, background red, 100, P10. That should still give us a background and some padding, but it's not. So why? Why is what I want to know. This is gonna be so exciting though. Like I'm so pumped because I literally get to build the front end and the back end, and if I can do, I also yesterday I was messing around with this other authentication that we're definitely gonna implement instead of AWS Cognito or OAuth. We're gonna use Clerk. Clerk is it's pretty powerful. So either that or I'll look into OAuth again. I do want to keep it on like enterprise level, so I need to look into Clerk more, but I did implement it for a fun thing and it's pretty powerful. So we might change that, I think, on the Google Doc. Let me go ahead and pop that off to the side real quick. And docs.google, where are we at? To pop into the full stack application. Nice. Because originally, if we remember, I think this is episode 2, I believe, of talking about just roughly what we want to use. So we'll say state management, where we've made the decision with Next. Let's get back to this. We'll say RDK or setup stores, I guess is what we'll call them. We'll steal the name. I'll need to look into that on my off time. TypeScript, of course, we already implemented this, and Tailwind, of course. Contract docs, I guess technically this would be our contract area. So maybe we'll build a little bit more of that tomorrow or later. Because I definitely want to, but I think we're still keeping everything organized in a contract way, where the contract is universal, and then we have our backend repo linking to this, and then our front end repo linking to this, so the contracts are still doing what they're supposed to be doing, which is awesome. But I do want to make it more official, but that does take time. So I'll look into that as well. So this shouldn't be too long of a lookup. This will definitely be a little bit longer of a lookup. We're there with Node.js functionality. We've got Express, of course, S3 Multer. I'm not going to show what we're going to do for uploads. I saw another thing for file uploads for React. So we might change that. I'll put 2 stars, I guess, for it to change. And React Native, Docker, we haven't answered these questions yet, so we'll figure that out. I'll need to talk with my buddy OAuth too, though. This is where I think we're going to go with Clerk instead of OAuth 2. It's a little bit easier. And just, again, this project's already demanding enough, at least for me to learn and do the UI, UX, all this stuff. So that'll be implemented, and then we can start checking things off. I'll either start deleting them, or we'll do like lines through the cross or something where progress is being made. But these are kind of bigger ticket things that it's also hard to just like check off Next.js when the whole application needs work in Next.js. You know what I mean? So more to come, but more is coming. More is coming. So we got. But before I get off today, let's figure out the column issues and the coloring issues of the components. So if I stash the components back into, no, not the node modules, but back into SRC, would that work? What about if they existed back in app? Would that work? So interesting, because I want all these things obviously to exist here. So gonna have to figure that out, right? But yeah, I think we can maybe implement Clerk next time. Would be but we didn't really finish the card thing. So I do want to finish the card, or at least like the initial bit of the card where it's the data from the back end. We won't get the functionality quite yet because there's going to be a lot of functionality associated with that card. but I do want to get the data there, which I think we're really close to doing. I just need to get the pages. Why is CSS no longer working in my JS frontend repo? Okay, let's see. Let's see what ChatGPT says. Okay, come on. It's giving me a little error saying only one message at a time, So, app.js, index.js, components. It does say to put components out here. Interesting. So interesting, right? A little bit frustrating, to be honest. Reusable React components, helpers in the library, middleware, etc. This is where your components go. Okay, I see that. I don't want to just have this drag on while you guys, this is like debugging I can handle, maybe, hopefully, right? So I'll look into it, but the important part is we do have the data coming to the front end at least. I think styling issues are a little bit more minor and something I can configure on my own time, hopefully, right? Or maybe next episode we'll just have like debugging issues of figuring out the store and styling. And then finalizing the card maybe. And I do want to implement clerk. I think that would be a powerful episode, or 2 episodes, or just kind of those 2 things. But altogether, I think all, let's see what this did. Import styles, verify CSS path, my app. Yeah, I don't think these are the issues, right? Import global style.css, .global.css. Maybe if I pop this file out, maybe. Yeah, again, we're just shooting off the hip here, folks. But okay, before getting too wild with it, I do just want to commit, obviously, and what did we get done today? We got data showing on front end. Let's go ahead and push that, and we're back to our dev server, and we'll do whatever changes we did on the back end as well. Say update backend. Cool. So backend is up, and I will sniff around and figure out some stuff. I guess altogether, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I've got my software engineering course linked below, and I'm going to be packing on more and more content and value with these courses and stuff. I think this first course is just going to be the immediate stuff of what I think is key for someone who's been around software engineering, and at least in the introductory spot, is like, hey, what is it like having an enterprise level job? That's kind of the secrets and stuff I'm putting in that course and curating for. hopefully in a way that's valuable and usable for people. And down the road, I would love to build and construct from like a zero code person or starter, or just as I get more better and advanced and intermediate advanced, I guess I don't want to be arrogant ever. I always want to kind of remain humble to this space because it's a ginormous space, and like the more I learn, the more I realize I don't know in this space. So it's a beautiful journey, but the goal is to give back and at least provide value or an opportunity for value. And that's what some of this episode stuff is about too. It's just like documenting something that's fun for me. It's enjoyable. Like literally seeing this data coming to the front end is really like, I love it. I really do. And then hopefully there's something that people are learning as well. Maybe like my rants about React versus Vue has maybe inspired some people to be like, okay, I'll give Vue a try and just try it out, because it's a really powerful framework. I love it. It is nice though being back in React. The comfort I get of knowing that like, okay, all my problems people have definitely figured out in React, right? Like if you want to build something in React, like anything that's kind of even remotely been done before, you know it's been done, and you know that there's going to be tutorials, you know there's going to be documentation for it, like you know it's going to be a really well thing. So, but altogether, guys, thank you so much for watching. I don't want to keep on ranting. I really do love talking, but at some point I do have to wrap the episode up because it is nighttime for me. It's really late and I need to get to bed. And yeah, but thank you so much for watching. This has been a fruitful episode for me. I know it doesn't seem that way looking at the DOM, but yeah, getting that data on the front end is it's important. It's important. So we'll get the DOM cleaned up on the next episode, I think. That would be important. And then if we can get the clerk implemented, ooh. But before doing that, let's just shoot for cleaning up the DOM and getting that card component. And yeah, or at least large majority of that card component roughly built out. And I think that'll be great for tomorrow's episode. So today, I guess, was kind of prepping for the data for the card component. And then hopefully tomorrow's just putting the full symphony together of that thing. So thank you so much for watching again, and see you on the next episode. Bye.